Good morning. Can you?
Good morning.
Can you all hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. So it's good to be back after a long holiday. Can you also turn your video on first so we get to know each other if possible? Hello? Yes, Sebastian. Okay, Manaf, Rivan, Nahda, Tiara. Okay, Pasha, Saiful Anwar, Muhammad Irsyad, Eduardo, Suban, Muhammad Faras, Elsa Nurul, Ahmad Rafi, Taki, Ithaf, okay, Ithaf, Darren Odik, Kaila, Raihan, who else? Okay, many of you. How many are in this class? Let me see if I can see all of you. Okay. 19. Okay. So it's good to see you back. And I don't know if we haven't, I don't know whether we have seen each other because you are 19. I think you still, yeah, some of you may have attended my lecture at Ph.D. I don't know, any of you have taken have you, any of you in my class at Ph.D.? Huh? Hello?
No, sir.
No, sir. Nobody. None of you in my class. Oh,
No, sir, I don't think so.
I don't think so.
So I failed in my class in my Ph.D. because I wasn't able to convince you to join aeronautical engineering, right? So maybe I didn't promote enough, so nobody was joining. Okay, so I failed as a lecturer at Ph.D. because one of the reasons why I joined the Ph.D. is maybe a little bit introducing you to aeronautical engineering, so you might go to my class. But anyway, since most of you maybe, oh yeah, no wonder, because most of you is in the international class, okay? Yes. So I think Pak Pulung is actually the lecturer, right? So okay, I understand now. So I wasn't fail at all. Okay, so I'm quite happy to see you all. So move, and hopefully that we can have a very fruitful, okay, and beneficial lecture. So it will help you in a great deal because this is something that the first time that you might see. So I might say that welcome to aviations. Okay, so normally you only talks about aeronautics, and so far maybe you haven't even heard about airworthiness. So this is the chance. So I'm trying to really try to brainwash you in a way. Okay, so this is, so if you come to aeronautics and if you go to the aviation industry without knowing about airworthiness, I think you are fooling yourself. Okay, and I will let you know and why I said so, and I'm trying to convince you, and you actually come to the best class ever in aeronautics, hopefully. So I'm here to help you, and I'm not the only one who is going to lead you in this course, because I will be accompanied by the very dependable and very famous and also very competent and capable Dr. Engineer Javensius Sembiring. Okay, so and hopefully that we will help you in a great deal. Okay, how about the others who are not turning on the video? Do you have any problems? Maui, Dafa, Darren Audric, Aisha Juf, Pascal Cesario, okay, Hisam S. Harun, Terang Brantas, how are you? Nexa Fiorelli, do you have any problems? Raditya, welcome to the class. Laurentius Laksamana, Asyah Sarhani, Naufal Ausaf Fauzan, okay. Hello? Are you there?
Hello, sir. I'm Asia, and I'm sorry I can't open my camera because I tend to have problems if I open my camera and, well, screen sharing, because sometimes like the Zoom just won't respond. So
okay, no problem, no problem.
so
If you have
sorry.
any problem with the connection, I cannot blame you. So blame the internet. But
Okay,
it's
thank
good to
you.
see all of you. So the reason why I ask you to turn on, because otherwise I don't recognize you. I'm very bad at remembering names. Okay, but I could remember face, and sometimes if I remember face and names, it's very difficult to match the names and the face as well. So that's another difficulties. Okay, but at least if I see you in my class, I know you, that you are my students. So it'll help me a great deal. At least if we meet somewhere else outside the class, like for example, so I will be able to recognize you, maybe say hello. Okay, otherwise you are just a number in my memory. So maybe that's something need to be avoided. Okay, avoided. So anyway, it's good that you come to this class, and I hope that this is because it's supposed to be international class, but I see some of the regular students attending this one. So hopefully that we will be able to communicate, and that will be no problem for you in understanding English. And I'm really sorry that my English not maybe not as good, not like the natives, but I'm trying to do my best, because and try to explain as clearly as possible using the language that you might be able to understand. So hopefully that this for the next 15 weeks, we are going to enjoy our course together. So hopefully you will learn a lot from this experience. And Pak Javan will help me, and we will alternately teaching you, because some of the topics maybe I was the one who leads and teach, but the other ones maybe will be delivered by Pak Javan. Okay, so okay, so if you I I don't expect that you will turn on the video most of the time, but every now and then, if I want to ask you to turn it on, maybe I think please do so, because it's really bad to see and talk to audience without knowing they're there. So, but looking at you maybe and looking at me, maybe it's good for me. So we will have some kind of communications. So we will be able to communicate, and that's what I expect. So this course may not be only one way. I'm just teaching and explain everything, but I will expect some response from you. So maybe if you want to ask question, please raise your hands. We have a facility in Zooms, and you can raise it, so I might be able to see. And I'm trying to give all the here, but unfortunately my screen is not big enough to see all of you, because I'm supposed to have to be able to see 49. Yes, I think that would be how many? 1, 2, 3, 6. This is only 36. How many are we in this class? 37. Okay, one single person is not here. I could see 39 people or 36 people, but 37.
Yeah, actually, there are 37 students registered for this class, Pak Hisar. So today there are 2 students that did not,
Okay.
attend this lecture.
Normally I can see 49 in my screen straight away. So, but today it is not possible. I don't know why. So maybe, okay, that's not a problem. That's the problem of Zooms. So, okay. Any of you have heard anything about airworthiness before? Do you know anything about airworthiness? When you come to this class, do you have any prior knowledge? Something you might heard somewhere, somehow? Okay. Anybody knows what the course is supposed to be about? Okay. Hello? Arik? It seems that you are talking somebody, so
Yes, sir.
yes.
Oh, I was just thinking to myself, sir. I think airworthiness certification is just a certain type of certification or grading that grades the worthiness of an aircraft, that it is worthy of flight. I think, sir.
Okay. So
Yeah.
it's quite, you are not quite far from, I think you will be able to pass this class with grade A.
Thank you,
Based
sir.
on this prior knowledge. Okay. Anybody knows about this topic? Hello? Hello? Yes, Aisha? Seems that you want to talk.
Hello.
Yes.
I mean, I can't think of anything else better than Arik's answer, but yeah, basically about when you're about to mass produce something, you need certification. So maybe that's what we're gonna study here.
Okay. So it's talking about mass productions, yes. So if it is a thing, yes, good one. That's why you need certification. It's quite okay. See, if you only apply, I think if you only produce one, you don't need that, because normally if you only for single products, you do it yourself. You don't need, and normally you just use it for yourself. But if you are talking about mass production, meaning that somebody else are going to use it, and you have to make sure that they are okay. Okay, so that's why you need the certification. Okay, anything else?
I think that's it from now.
Okay, okay, thank you. So any comment from other students? Good. There are 35 students attending now, so I hope that will be about 35 opinions. Okay.
I would like to answer,
Yes.
sir.
Argi
Yeah, so when
Argi Rafdan. Okay.
yes, sir.
What should I call you? Argi Rafdan or Muhammad Argi?
Argi, sir.
Argi. Okay, Argi.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, when I think about airworthiness, that means what makes an airplane like worth of flying, right? So one major thing to think about is, of course, the safety. So like legal and the legal and like the physical state of the airplane itself, of how worthy it is to fly. So like if the airplane is prone to failure, then it's not, you cannot say that it has a high risk of accidents. That's why it's not worthy. So when I think about worthiness, it's about like safety.
Okay. So it's quite related to safety. It's quite okay. Yeah, it's quite, you are right. Anything else? Okay. Seems like because we don't have much time, so I'm really sorry. We already spent 26 minutes and we have only 1 hour for this first class. So hopefully that we will be able to introduce you a little bit. So I just explained a little bit about myself and Pak Javen, and this is a little bit short descriptions. Pak Javen is actually got his doctorate engineering doctorate, okay, in aerospace engineering from Technical University of Munich in Germany, and he's been joining our faculty since 2004, if I'm not mistaken. Is that right, Pak Javen?
2014, Pak Hisar.
14, sorry. 14, yes. Sorry, I'm really sorry. I think he was just graduated in 2004. Is it right?
You mean
Graduated from ITB.
2004? Yes, 2004, Pak Hisar.
Okay, 2004, but then he was attending the postgrad at ITB, and he also already joined us as academic assistants, helping us in many projects. Okay, so I just remember, and he's one of the good guys. Okay, much better and much clever than myself. So I'm really glad to have him on board with me. So hopefully, and while he was doing his study in Germany for many years, okay, and he also was involved in several research and with many organizations, especially with European Union, with Eurocontrol, and also with EASA, but also with some national project in Germany as well. So he is quite okay, understand more about airworthiness. So he is more than capable and competent to teach the subjects, not only based on knowledge, but also based on experience. So this is something as good to have him. And of course, I myself got my PhD in aeronautics from Cranfield University. They call it now. Used to be Cranfield Institute of Technology in UK. And it was a long time ago, but I got also in 2014, this is from Persatuan Insinyur Indonesia, or Institute of Engineers. I got the highest degree and award, and that will be Insinyur Profesional Utama. So that's a fellow position. So I'm really proud of it, but that will be some recognition about my professional activities as an engineer. And I became a lecturer in 1987. So I'm sure none of you except Pak Javan was born at that time. So in 2000, this is 2019. So hopefully that you were born in 2002 or 2001. Is that right? Okay. Anybody who was born earlier than that? Maybe Pascal, huh? Pascal, when were you born?
99, sir.
99. Okay, so you are, most of you maybe 2 years younger than Pascal. Okay, so Pascal is the oldest student in this class, hopefully. But being old doesn't necessarily being old-fashioned. Hopefully he will learn a lot from that one. Okay, so I was also a senior investigator for aircraft accidents at KNKT. So, and I was involved in most of the major accidents in Indonesia. We have plenty of accidents, but I might say that I wasn't involved in all of them, but all the major accidents I was involved and I was active in that one. Recently was the Sriwijaya SJ182, which is not finished yet in our analysis. But before that, it was MAX accidents, and that was a very interesting, if I say, experience for me, because not only as an engineer, but also knowing the subjects, and we can learn a lot about these situations. Okay, so and that accident is quite related to airworthiness, because in the aftermath of that investigation, actually Boeing has to recertify the airplanes, and not only that, I think the FAA is also under the scrutiny, because they have to do something, they have to do some changes in the way they certify airplanes. So it's quite very extensive and very meaningful experience for me, and especially in teaching you about the subjects. Okay, but currently I also becoming design organization, the head of the organization at the PT in Bandung. We are actually trying to build a cargo drone industry. So hopefully by the end of this year, we got our certification from the DGA, and we will be the second organization in Indonesia who is able to design and build airplanes and certify it for operation commercially. So we will be the second after PTDI. So hopefully, please pray that we will be able to succeed. So, and that's based on that, I think the teachings that I give you today is not only based on the knowledge that I read somewhere, but also based on my own experience. So I will say that you are actually coming to a class in which you are taught by a very experienced and capable lecturers. I'm not bragging, but that's just true, because, and if you see that Pak Javan is quite experienced, and I myself have a long history and long track records in the business. Okay, but previously I was working at PTDI for 12 years. Okay, as a design engineers, and then was involved in several projects, okay, like N290, N250, and also the N2130. This is the jet airplanes, but unfortunately, because of the monetary crisis in 1997 and 1998, the project was cancelled. So, and we failed to certify it completely. Anyway, so that's the introductions about the lectures. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask. But I'm going to continue with the materials. So before, this is something that we can learn about safety, because as we discussed earlier, because certification is about safety. So that's the reason why I give to safety, and that's quite important as well, about safety. And even though we are not actually delivering the course in class, in which we are gathering together, and that safety is more important. But hopefully, even though you are alone in your room or in your workplace, so you still need to pay attention to the safety protocols. There are 3 things that I just want to introduce today about safety briefing. The first one is actually about warning systems. Okay, so accidents never happens without any warnings. Sometimes we have some indicators, okay, some precursors to accidents. So some events that happens and takes place beforehand, and that's the reason why we can have some warnings before any accidents that maybe endanger your life and your welfare. I think we will have some incidents or some events that you can learn about. So having a warning system is good. So unfortunately, we don't have such a system in ITB, because normally it could be just a warning. People are just maybe shouting that there was a fire or something, or there will be some danger, and that's the only warning system that we might find at the campus. Because our campus is actually a very old technology. It was built in 1920, and most of the building, even though we have some recent and new buildings, but it was built without any safety concerns beforehand. So very limited safety equipment available. But not only that, I think, and that's the reason why we don't have any central warning system at ITB. But even so, if you have any warnings, even please pay attention to it. So take heed and then do something, so you will be able to evacuate the rooms and save yourself from any incoming danger or that is around you. So that's the first thing. So if you hear some warning systems, please make sure that you prepare yourself to abort, and then abort your activities, and also evacuate the building and go out of the building as quickly as possible. Find a safe place. Okay. The second thing that you need to understand is actually the exit routes. There will be some mitigation strategy available. So in many cases, if you are in the building, there will be some exit routes, and they put it up in the walls, and so you will be able to look at it, and you know where you're around. And even at our campus, even though it's not one, but recently we already put up some pamphlet and some diagrams showing about the exit route as well. So wherever you are, please make sure you know the routes to the outside world, okay, outside the building, and that's you will be able to find the safest routes available and the quickest routes available to the exit. Okay, and the third one, once you exit the building, go to this what we call safe areas. Okay, which is actually normally situated somewhere, and in our campus we have places in which you can see all these sign, okay, the green sign, tempat berkumpul or assembly points, and that's where you are going to do. Okay, we have some near FTMD building, and there's also some the other place. I think all over the campus we have this one. So if you are outside the campus, I think you have to look at somewhere safe for you to be out of danger. Okay. The safe place is not necessarily an open space. Okay, an open space. Okay, it's not necessarily open space. Sometimes, if you are in case of lightning, for example, open space is also can be dangerous, because in an open space, when you are standing, you could be the tallest element in that area, and if there is any lightning strikes, I think you will be the first one that could be struck. Okay, so it's better if you are in open space, you go to somewhere, okay, which is maybe in the shade, for example, okay, and that's the other one, and that will be safe. If there is no place in which you can find this this sign, okay. So remember, if you hear any warnings, evacuate the rooms, leave everything about any activities that you are currently doing at that time, and please do not analyze the situation. Okay, it's better to save yourself first than anything that might hinder you from doing so. Okay, and the second one, find the exit routes as quickly as possible. Okay, and follow the procedure to the exit routes. Okay, and normally I am not suggesting that you go to the lift, because lift can take you faster if you are somewhere maybe in a high-rise building, maybe in the top floor, maybe it's easier. But normally in an emergency situation, also the lift can also be also in a very dangerous, because it can stop anywhere once the electricity is off. So maybe it's better to find some other place and some other routes. Okay, so what I said, if you are in any situation or in any building, please make sure at least you will have some two alternatives of exiting the building. So if you can find maybe one stairs, that's the one, and maybe you have to look for another alternative, just in case that first alternative may be blocked. Okay, so you cannot use it. Okay, and then once you are outside the building, maybe you go to the what we call a safe areas. Any question about these safety protocols? No. Okay, good. And 3 things about housekeeping items. Okay, and this is normally, I just said only 3 things. I normally only put 3 things, because if I put 4, you might end up forgetting the whole 4 or only remember 1. But 3 things, I think, is much easier to remember. So at least you will remember all the 3 instead of only a single one. Okay, the first one is actually about toilets. Okay, so fortunately, we are not in a building. We are not in any class. So most of you may be in your own house. So you know where you are. But the first thing the reason why I just gave you this slide about toilets is just to remind you that taking the class of this airworthiness for today is only 1 hour, but for the other day, tomorrow, we will spend about 2 hours, and most probably, I think you might need to go to the toilet during that time. So the reason I'm going to show you, to explain this, okay, if you come to the class, please go and discharge yourself first to the toilets, and then coming to this, so you will be free without any disturbance, because I'm thinking it could be very stressful if you are feeling the urge to pee, for example, during class, but then you cannot do it because you are afraid of leaving the class, because you are afraid of missing any information that is very important. So please go to the toilet beforehand or after the class. Okay, and the quickest way to go to the toilet is knowing where the toilet are. Okay, so if you can do that. And then the second one, okay, fortunately that we are in online, so I don't have to worry about smoking, because I don't smoke, and I don't even like the smell of the smoke. Okay, so I don't like people smoking next to me. So hopefully that in my class there is no smoking. Okay, and the third one is actually about handphones, but again, I'm sure some of you may all using handphones for internet connections, but please make sure that you switch it off. not switch it off. Turn off the sound. Okay, so you can silent and at least you can vibrate so it doesn't disturb. I don't want to hear any ringing sounds while we are in class. Okay. Any questions? Okay, I'm going to ask you. We have 3 things that we need to remember about safety. Anybody remember? What is the first one? Hello?
Hello?
Yes, Aisha?
Yeah, the first one is warning systems, exit routes, and safety areas.
So what you gonna do when you heard this warning?
And I'm gonna head to the nearest exit, and then go to the assembly point.
Okay, good one. So you remember everything. Hopefully that you will remember for the rest of your life, because that will be good skill that helps you, okay, in any situation, not only in this class. Okay. So hopefully we will still have, I think, only 50 minutes. This is a very short video. I just take it from YouTube, so it's quite important. It's actually an old one in 2013. It's about Boeing 747s. Maybe some of you already heard about this or maybe read it somewhere, but just listen to it. It's in English. It's very short. It's only 3 minutes, but there will be a lot of information there. So please pay attention to what they are saying and what they discuss, and maybe we will be able to understand a little bit about what this course is all about. Okay.
All right, now to a story that is not so funny and causing a lot of concern. Boeing's groundbreaking 787 Dreamliner was delayed for years because of production trouble. Well, now the company is dealing with 2 new 787 incidents in the past 2 days.
Boeing stock is falling after the latest problems with the Dreamliner. As Mark Strassman reports, one of those jets sprung a leak yesterday before takeoff.
As the Boeing 787 Dreamliner, operated by Japan Airlines, taxied to the runway, approximately 40 gallons of fuel leaked from the aircraft.
Japan Air 7 Heavy, hold your position. We have fire trucks coming to you.
The second mishap for Boeing's newest plane at Logan Airport in as many days.
We will prepare the towing with Japan 7 Heavy.
On Monday, a fire burned in the belly of a 787 just minutes after the passengers had left the plane. Captain Chesley Sully Sullenberger is a CBS News aviation and safety expert.
And if you look at the history of aviation, decades ago, new airplanes had many more issues and they often led to fatal results. Now we catch these problems much earlier.
National Transportation Safety Board investigators traced the fire to a battery in the plane's auxiliary power unit.
The battery we're talking about is the battery that provides the electrical energy to start the airplane's auxiliary power unit, which is typically used on the ground to provide electrical power and heating or cooling when the airplane's on the ground.
In a statement, Boeing said, "Nothing that we've seen in this case indicates a relationship to any previous 787 power system events." Last month, a United Airlines 787 flight made an emergency landing in New Orleans after false warnings from an electrical panel. United, the only American carrier to fly the Dreamliner, inspected all of its 787s. All 6 of those planes flew yesterday, but the Wall Street Journal reported that United found improperly installed wiring.
Every new airplane has growing pains, especially those that kind of push the edge of the envelope in technology.
While both of Japan Airlines 787s returned to the skies yesterday, Boeing's reputation may rest on the Dreamliner staying out of the headlines. For CBS This Morning, Mark Strassman, Houston.
Okay. So anybody can mention what are the problems? Hello?
Can I try?
Yes, Bastian.
In the first part, there was Boeing 787 fuel leaking in the runway. leaked, I think, like 40 gallons, if I remember correctly, of like fuel. And then the next part I remember was a fire in the belly of like the plane because of the auxiliary battery short circuiting or something, I think, that caused like fire. And then in the final one, United Airlines or something, the plane's electrical system gave off false warnings that made the pilots had to like do an emergency landing in New Orleans.
Okay, squad, I think you listen well and they are quite impressive. So thank you. So are they related, all these incidents and accidents?
I think they're all related by the fact that the 787 plane shown was new. We were told from like the expert, I think, the safety expert, that when it comes to new planes pushing for new technologies, that it is normal for them to have like problems early on that will slowly get addressed, and that things are better now because in the past, there would usually be like a fatal accident first before we know that something was wrong, but now we get like the warnings much earlier.
Okay. Any comment from the other students? Any ideas? Any lessons that you could learn from the video? Hello?
Sir, I think what we can learn from this
Yeah.
video is that when regarding to new aircraft, there will always be some electrical gremlins, they say, that need to be sorted out, and that airworthiness is important to ensure that these new aircraft can be sorted out as quickly as possible.
Okay. So the first one may not is not explained where what's the problems, what is the source of the leakage. Okay. But the second, I think, is a little they explain it because they did something because they are not sure about the technology, and they say that it never happened before. Okay, so it's something relatively new. So maybe that's something that maybe they didn't know much. Okay, and that's maybe one of the reasons why they passed the certification in the first place, even though there would be something that they don't know. But what happened there is actually there was a short circuit in the battery, and the battery was not protected well. Okay, so the short circuits create fire, and the fire cannot be contained in a way. So, and that's it becoming a hazard or a danger. And of course, with the same design, even though in this case we don't have any casualties, okay, because it just happens once the all the passenger has left the aircraft. So that's one. It's lucky, okay, but it could happen anytime, and it could happen also to any other Boeing 787s anywhere in the world. And at that time, it was, I think, maybe about 50 aircraft already operated all over the world. So they didn't take any. I didn't want to take any risk in that one. So they really have to make sure that the design can be replaced with a better one with better protections. And I think also they need to recertify the airplane altogether. Okay, and the third one is actually something related not only to design, but it's also about what we call about the conformity, because there will be some miswiring in a way. Okay, miswiring. Okay, so I don't know about the design itself, but maybe they didn't do proper manufacturing and proper installation of the wirings. So it could be, and that's the reason why we thought. Okay. So you can see that for not only new airplanes, but all airplanes needs to be designed perfectly, and it will be safe, but also has to be manufactured according to the design itself, so we don't have any extra danger to the aircraft. Okay. Any questions? So this is the reason. Sorry, I have to. So we need to understand why accident can happen, especially, and we can learn from it. And not all accidents are quite related to certification, I have to say. But for this particular accident, it's quite related because it's related to design and it's related to the production and how they manufacture and assemble everything. So this is why I really picked this subject and this video, because I will say this is very very interesting for our discussion in our class of this for today. Okay, and we can learn about this, and this is and of course the lesson that we can learn is actually how to prevent it to happen again. Okay, so this is the real, and in this situation I think Boeing has to go to recertification of the battery systems and making sure that they really have to do the analysis. And one of the reasons is actually they didn't consider some possibility or scenarios that might happen. Okay, so they did that based on their prior knowledge, and they think that it was safe, but now they found that it wasn't as safe as they thought. So because they missed some of the analysis, and that will be what we call faulty analysis, and they have to redo it. And considering all the scenarios of cases that might happen, and also some combination of failure that might happen in a single occurrence. Okay, so this is something they do that, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think it took about 9 months for Boeing to really solve the problems. Okay, so for 9 months, Boeing 787 has to be grounded. Okay, and you see that that will be a very detrimental effect for the for Boeing commercially. You can see in the beginning that their shares actually drops a little bit. Okay, and they lose some money because of that situation. So certifications is actually, you will say, is not only related to safety, but the consequences of the safety is actually about money, because you might not be able to operate the aircraft, and that's mean that you might lose some market for your aircraft. And not only that, I think it's also a losing situation for the operators, because they are not able to gain any revenue because the airplane is grounded. Okay, so if you can see here, there will be some lessons. Okay, so what I expect here for you to learn is actually to understand a bit about airworthiness. What is it, and what are the consequences, especially in the safety and to the business of officials. Okay, and in this previous example, we can see that it really affects safety, but also affect the business of the Boeing company. Okay, and the second one, actually, we will be able to identify regulation related to airworthiness and safe operations. I'm not going to go through all the regulation, okay, but at least we just introduce you a little bit about this regulation, so you know if you have some problems when you are working in operators or in the industry, you know what regulation that might relate to the problems that you are facing. Okay, and the third one is actually to be able to explain about how we can be able to comply to airworthiness certifications, and what are the procedure and what are the requirements to do that, and that you need to fulfill. And that's something that you can learn from these subjects. And the fourth one is actually to have a comprehension about the process, and then we will going to explain to you about how the certification is done, especially when we are talking about aircraft. And there are many certification process. One is actually to certify the airplane as a completely new one and as a product, but also to certify the airplane for operation, and that's what we normally call as airworthy. But there are some other certification process as well that needs to be explained, and hopefully in the coming weeks we are going to go through each of these certification process, so you will be able to learn from it. Okay. The fifth one, actually, to be able to have awareness about what is your responsibility, because most of you may go to industry, some may go to aircraft industry like manufacturer like Boeing or even PTDI. Some may go to aircraft operator like Garuda, and some may work at aircraft maintenance organization like GMF or Lion Techniques, for example, or Batam Air. And maybe some of you ever also working with the authority, because with I think two of my students have gone to get internship with DKPPU at Kementerian Perhubungan, and they are offered to join the clubs to become an engineers there, but they haven't decided yet. So many of you may go to the aviation authority, as we call it, okay, or can be as designers and even working in the manufacturers or as operators. So at least in this case, I think you will be able, for the type of responsibility that you are taking in your own field, I think you understand what is your responsibility in terms of the awareness and safety of your operations. Okay. Any questions? Okay. And okay, this is how you got that. Okay, we got quizzes, and then we have assignments. Okay, and then we have 2 times of mid-test. The first one is actually maybe after the first 4 or 5 chapters, and then we have second test, and we don't have any final exams. Okay, so we have 2 tests maybe during the course, and of course, even though the second mid-test is actually towards the end of the class. Okay, but we don't call it as final because we still have, and we have some the end of term assignments, and that will be a big assignment in groups, and normally it will be given maybe about 7 weeks before the class ends. Okay, so you will have time to work on the projects. Okay, and that will be the end assignment will be certification projects, in which you can work in one products of your own. So maybe we discuss it later in the middle of the course. Okay, towards maybe about the 7 or 8 weeks. So we can discuss about the topic you will suggest, and then we can discuss about it, whether it will be that topics will be quite good enough for you to study. And then now we can learn from that, and then you can develop certification programs for your projects. Okay, so that will be the end of term assignments, and that will be a big one, because you can see at about 35% of your grading will be dictated by this one. Okay, and I don't normally take account about your attendances. Okay, but of course, if you are attending, please do not be late. And normally the maximum allowance for being late is actually for about 15 minutes. Okay, and since we are in online, I hope that you are dressed formally. Okay, so that's something that I don't even know what happens to you if you are wearing a sandals or not. Okay, because I cannot see it. Okay, but at least formal dress is required for this class, so you will be able to see each other. Okay, and last one, I think the ones that I'm going to give you is actually how you attend regularly, because we don't have any reference. The only reference is actually a book by Florio. I forgot about it. He's Italian who is working at the EASA and FAA, but I think even though it's not very comprehensive enough, but that's the only thing that we can have. Okay, but you can attend regularly because we can have discussion. And then prior to classes, please prepare yourself. We might give you some assignments, reading assignments, or even some video to watch, so you will be able to understand a little bit. And most of the time, I think the material is going to be published, so you will be able to read probably. So we can have discussion during class. At least you can follow, even though you are not attending the class. Okay, and be proactive. If you have any problems, if you don't understand, please raise your hands, okay, and ask. And I always remember this, okay, and this is something that you need to remember. There is no stupid questions, okay. This only stupid question is the one on us, okay. So I welcome any questions, even though you find it stupid, but myself, I don't consider spill, because it's just a matter of being curious and wants to expanding your knowledge to a better one. Okay, so please, I welcome any questions. Okay, so do not hesitate and do not feel awkward to ask any question. Any question will be welcome, and I'm sure, and I myself and also Pak Javan try to answer that question as well as we can. Okay, and most of the assignments will be in groups. Okay, but I just want to recommend to you, even though it's a group, please do your work individually first, and then so you can contribute to the groups during discussion, and at least you will be able to understand what is being required in any assignments, even though you already assigned responsibility and tasks for any assignment. At least you know the whole projects or the whole assignments. So by working together, but also by working individually. Okay, and the last one will be do not skip quizzes and tests. Quizzes may only contribute about 10%, but 10% is good enough to take you from B to A, or to B to AB, or from AB to A, or sometimes from D to C, or in many cases can take you from C to B. Okay, so, and also tests also is quite important. Okay, any questions? So I have to close. Actually, I'm going to give you some assignment today before tomorrow, so you will be able, and that assignment is only for about 1 week. Okay, hopefully that, okay. Last one. Okay, this is the assignment. So I'm going to, so maximum 3 students, okay, and that will be due for Monday next week. So 3 students. So go to the FAA websites, and they got this, and you can just have this link. I'm going to, okay, and this is about an accident for a contest flight, Airbus 380 in Batam, okay, flying from Singapore to, I think, to Sydney, and in 2010. So these are the things that you need to discuss among yourself and write a paper about it. What is the problems, okay, and what prompted the problems? So what is that one, and what safety issue are actually involved? Okay, and you can find all the answer here, no problem. I don't want to go to give you a more detail because we have only 1 week. So you just need to log in to this website and everything is there. The only problem for you is just to answer all the questions that I gave you here. Okay. And what are the airworthiness issues that is in question there and why they raise the issues, and that could be something here. And the third one is what action are taken by the airworthiness regulatory. In this case, it could be FAA or EASA, but since it is Airbus, maybe it is actually by EASA, by Europeans. And why is it necessary for them to take that actions? Okay. And the fourth one is actually what actions are taken by manufacturer and the air operators. And in this case, there are 3 about Airbus, who is actually the manufacturer of the aircraft, and Rolls-Royce, who is actually manufacturing the engines, because the accident is quite related to that one, and also Qantas as the operator. And again, I asked you why they are necessary to take that actions. Okay. And then the 5th one, actually, what lesson that you can learn from this accident about the airworthiness procedure. Okay. Is it okay? Maximum 3 students. Okay. So meaning that, of course, it's not only 1 because this is groups. So at least you have 2 students or 3 students. So we have 37. So hopefully some of you may already taken that 3 or some may go with 2 students. Okay. Any questions?
Pak, mau
Yes.
bertanya Pak, tapi nggak berhubungan sama PR. Jadi saya tuh besok kelasnya bentrok Pak, jam 7 sampai jam 9 sertifikasi kan. Saya bentrok jam 8 sampai jam 9 apa sama kinematika dan dinamika.
Itu kinematika semester 5?
Semester 3 Pak, saya ngulang.
Oh, kalau gitu Anda sebenarnya jadi lebih kalah ini. Tapi I don't know. Kalau kita ganti juga ada 2 orang yang nggak ada di sini. Maybe we discuss it tomorrow morning. Okay.
Boleh, Pak.
Kalau kita bisa ganti ya. Okay.
Oke, Pak.
Karena ini sudah overtime udah. Kita udah lebih 11 menit kan? Baru sadar saya. Oke.
Oke, Pak. Kasih,
Jadi
Pak.
besok tolong please raise the issue again so we can discuss. Oke. Kalau ini, oke. Kalau misalnya kita bisa ganti. Tapi most probably kamu juga bisa negosiasi kalau Pak siapa tuh dengan Kindin siapa? Pak Leo ya?
Bambang, Pak. Sama Pak Leo. Pak Bambang sama Pak Leo, Pak.
Diskusi dengan mereka juga. Siapa tahu itu bisa diganti lah. Tanggung sih. Itu 1 jam atau berapa?
1 jam, Pak. Iya.
Oh, sama dengan kita ya? Ya, ini sama. Memang 1 jam ini memang very awkward. Nah.
Iya.
Okay, so we'll discuss tomorrow. Hopefully, we can rearrange. No problem for us. Okay, no problem. Okay.
Baik, Pak. Terima kasih, Pak.
I'm going to ask Pak Javan to actually submit this. I don't know, to upload it in the EduNext if possible. So you will be able to. But if not, you just take a photo of it. Okay.
Yes, Pak Hisar, I will upload it today so student can always see what's going on for the lecture in EduNext.
Okay. So see you tomorrow morning at 7 o'clock. Hopefully that you are all well. Please stay healthy and get vaccinated. Okay. So give you more, I think you are more immune to this COVID-19. Okay.